Welcome to For Felliness, Belysning.
You are not broken.
You are out of balance.
And there is a path home.
This is For Felliness, Belysning,
From the Alaska ulfhednar.
ancestral morning light for those
who have been through hell
and are still standing.
This nonprofit has a sliding scale guidance
At alaskaulfhednar.org/guidance.
for felliness belysning.
Begins now.
Every day, someone's little girl, daughter, sister, girlfriend, fiance, wife, cousin, mother, auntie, grandmother, great grandmother, elder disappears, shattering a family, a community, the world. There is something we can all do. Remember them.
God Morgan, and happy Money's Day to you today. We celebrate the beginning of a new week, of a new collection of experiences that can provide us with a growth, abundance of wisdom. So today we talk about the bear's dream. Now, there are many stories about this, but the tales that my grandmother, my great-grandmother, would tell me time and time again, as I thought to kind of put things into perspective along my life, this story would surface many times. So today I pass that along to you. Before we get started, as always, I want to say thank you to all of you who have liked, followed, and subscribed. Thank you so much, regardless what platform, regardless where you're listening to us on. Especially those of you who have checked out New Reality TV. New Reality TV, of course, a wonderful collection of spiritual perspectives that provide us with, hopefully, that next step that resonates deep within inside of us, that helps us to evolve to whatever our next part of our journey involves. So, thank you again so much. As always, this morning's show is brought to you by Janet Howard Fashions. And Janet Howard Fashions, for those of you who have not checked that out at our website, every hall has a presence that steadies the room, that just turns the tale. Well, Janet Howard Fashions crafts that presence, tailoring that fits like armor and moves like silk, with lines that honor grace and command. Step into garments that carry your story forward with quiet power. Learn more and see many of our other affiliates at our website at akumedia.akoutlaw.com/sponsors. So be sure to check those out. For those of you who are joining us maybe for the first time, thank you and welcome. Hopefully you will check out the chat. For those of you who may have questions or comments, by all means, feel free to drop them in the chat. If there are questions, we'll try to get to those. So thank you so much again for joining us. So today we're talking about the bear's dream. And when it comes to the bear's dream, in my own personal life, many times I think of things and I put the wrong perspective on it. As the example, the bear always being cast, if you will, as the predator, as that beast that just devours everything around it, and it's just destructive and just all types of perceivable incorrect in modern society. Well, my grandmother used to sit me down and she'd say, no, you have to look at it from the other direction, from the perspective of the bear. And what that meant was, as she would go on to explain, the bear simply does what the bear does. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's not bad, it's not good. It's living. It's part of our normal, everyday, run of the mill day for the bear. So the bear collects his food necessary for him to survive, for him to continue to live. He exercises as appropriate, and he does bear things because that's what he does, and that's what brings him comfort and peace and joy. Now, when bears attack humans, we always say, oh, it's the bear's fault, it's the bear's fault, it's the bear's fault. Well, it's not the bear's fault. It's the human's fault. It's the human's fault for being in the bear territory with no warning to the bear. Now, I will say many times bear attacks, particularly in open spaces here in Alaska, many of them are we wind up surprising the bear. The bear is doing bear things, and poof, up pops this human, and his first reaction is to protect himself. We have something that's of fairly good size, and he needs to protect himself. So it initiates, obviously, an attack where we find bad things happen because, of course, here, particularly here in Alaska, humans are not the top of the food chain. So bears are a little bit higher up than we are. So we have to be cognizant of where the bears are and when not to surprise them. It's a very normal thing. And so when we think about our lives and we think about the things that are going through, and things just seem to be getting all kinds of sideways, and nothing seems to be able to make sense, we need to be able to stop and look at it from the bear's perspective. Look at it from another, potentially completely opposite angle, different way of looking at it. This is a very critical part of existence as humans, is that we need to have the ability to change our perspective, to look at things differently. It's super, super important. Many times we will find ourselves in situations in our normal everyday lives where we find ourselves overwhelmed, where emotional energies are just running amok, and we're struggling to grasp the control of these emotional energies. All of this occurs because we're only focused on a very specific perspective. We're looking at a very slim, very narrow view on the whole scenario. So, being able to have that mindset of sitting down, focusing, and changing the way we look at a particular situation, a particular conflict, anything that we need to reevaluate. Particularly those things that will conflict with our natural states of comfort, peace, joy, harmony, those things. And even those, when we talk about celebratory, we're celebrating particularly a victory. Celebrating a victory versus embracing the opponent's loss is kind of that sympathetic piece that allows us to see this conflict or this contest from different perspectives. Super important. And so today, as we embrace a new week, we rise beneath money as he makes his way across, particularly the Alaska sky, I want to kind of draw this idea of changing our view, of looking at it from the bear's dream, from the bear's perspective. As the bear sleeps in the evening, he has no guilt, he has no shame. He's simply doing bear stuff. He's just being a bear. He's looking at his. Now, can he see the world from your perspective, from humans' perspective? Obviously not. And to him, it doesn't matter. To us, we need to contemplate it as we look at this idea of harmony and our evolutionary growth. So if you think about the experience of reality happening, we look at the experience of reality and we learn from it. We grow from it, right? We accept the experience, we process it through our emotional state, and we store it in memory as an interpretation of that reality. So too, do we need to include this idea that our perspective, our view on a particular situation is not the only way. There are more than one way to see this. So, as my grandmother, great-grandmother, would impress upon me many times, being able to see the situation from the bear's view, from being ourselves, being our natural selves, whatever that looks like. Your authentic self is what provides you with less silt in your horn of feeling, obviously, but it provides you with more of a pride, with more of an energy of pride, of self-growth, of self-evolution. So it's very much a very strong piece of who we are. So in much the same way as the bear, simply doing bear things, growing, evolving, changing to his environment, so too do we. So too do we follow in his footsteps and say, you know, here's this thing, this event, this situation. I can look at it from this view and see that it's horrible, or it's not good, or it's unhappy, or it's whatever. Or I can flip the script and look at it from a totally different direction and say, okay, what can I learn from that? How is it going to change me? Am I going to grow from that? So, a very important pieces of our growth really involves looking at our situations from a very different perspective. Very different way of looking at it. So, it's all part of our emotional growth. So today, again, as we look at life and our interaction with reality, let us think for a moment about this idea that the way we're seeing this situation unfold may not be the only way, and it may not be the most beneficial way for us to look at this situation. We need to maybe change the way we're looking at it and actually grow from it. So that's a big piece of our spiritual growth. So as we think about starting our new week, or starting a new way of looking at all of the situations and all of the interactivity that we have in our lives every day, every minute of every day, looking at it again from a different perspective, being able to change the way we see it. And sometimes, if for no other reason other than to learn that piece, just simply to know it. To know it exists is to broaden our view of this situation, of this environment that's been created. So it's a super important piece that we recognize the breadth, the width of our potential interactivity. A huge lesson for me, as I grew up thinking that everything was happening to me. I was on the receiving end of all of these different events and experiences, when in fact, had I looked at them differently, many times I was the one orchestrating it. I was the one driving that view, that interpretation of that experience. One of the things that happened in my shamanic journey as I began to have visions and speak with the gods and certainly the ancestors, we did many times, we would look back at my life and we would kind of review in hindsight many different experiences that I've had throughout my life. And as I looked at them now and looked at them with my eyes today, I saw many times where the experience wasn't what I remember. It was different. I was looking at it differently. I was understanding it differently. I was learning different things in different ways. So as I looked at it this time, I was seeing that experience from a very different perspective. I had changed. I could now see a different way. And so, super enlightening when it comes to how do I deal with situations now going into my everyday life. Am I looking at all the angles? Am I looking at all the perspectives? Am I seeing the right one? Am I learning? Right? Am I growing? Do I feel harmonious? All of these things I kind of bring into my thoughts now and say, am I meeting that criteria? Okay, so today, let us see. All right. Let's see. What do we have today? And Zeus. And Zeus is a wonderful rune. It recognizes, and let me quote it here. It says, it's open paths of communication, intellect transformation, synthesis, word power, or divine inspiration. So Anzus today is talking to us about looking at the situation from a different perspective and recognizing that all of our experiences, all of life's experiences, are purely what we interpret them, how we interpret them, how we decide that we're going to see them. Every experience we have is this way. When we speak of divine intervention, we speak of divine interactivity, whether you recognize one or many gods, the idea that this reality is created in front of you, but you have a choice as to how you're going to interpret what's going on. You can look at it through angry eyes, you could look at it through happy eyes, sad eyes, frustrated eyes. You can look at it through anything. any perspective that you choose to embrace is open. So the reality exists. Our interpretation of that reality is completely on us, how we decide to interpret that reality. All right, we're going to take a real quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about how do we take the bear's dream and use it in our everyday life. So we'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Then Shared turns myth, memory, and modern minds into bold prints that change a room. See today's feature pieces and more with a link in the description.
It's happening.
It's in the air. The time is now.
We're all waking up.
We're waking up.
We're all waking up.
It's all shifting.
New vibrations.
It's you.
It's you.
It's me. It's all of us.
Together.
A new time.
A new day.
A new energy.
A new energy.
A new reality.
Awaken with us.
Awaken with us.
Awaken with us.
NewRealityTV.com.
Alight the morning fire. Blackout coffee, roast bold. Clean flavor for long days and late edits. Grab your bag. Use the link in the descriptions below.
These words are stirring something heavy in you. You don't have to carry it alone. Sliding scale spiritual guidance with sessions outside normal business hours is available through the Alaska ulfhednar. Visit akulfhednar.org/guidance to book a free discovery session.
And we're back. Thank you so much for taking that quick break with us. Hopefully you got something out of that. And as always, I want to give another huge shout out to my friends and family at New Reality TV. I also want to say thank you so much for Janet Howard Fashions. Wonderful designs, beautiful, elegant apparel that you can pretty much use to light up any room. Regardless of the level of dress for the event, Janet Howard has something that will do the trick. So do check her out. You can check them out as well as many others of our affiliates, and we're proud of our affiliates. And you can check those all out at akumedia.akoutlaw.com/sponsors. So be sure to check those out. Okay, and for those of you who, as mentioned at the commercial, for those of you who may be looking for another voice of reason, just a sounding board, by all means, feel free to check out my website for some specific one-on-one guidance and spiritual wisdom. You can check that out at https://akulfhednar.com/guidance. So be sure to check that out as well. Okay, so our rune for today again is Anzus. All right, Anzus. And Anzus talks to us about recognizing the divine inspiration or the divine overall, the operation of recognizing different perspectives. Because remember, that's really what we're here to do. Our brains, as we synthesize that sensory input, kind of process it through our emotional pits and wells and horns, and we wind up in our memories. Ultimately, the memories tied directly to our spiritual self. Our spiritual self is connected 365 to the spiritual realm. In the spiritual realm, energy is passed kind of just in every direction simultaneously. And in that, the gods are able to ascertain our interpretation. And yes, they do think it's important. Yes, they do value you and your interpretation of this experience. So definitely recognizing our part to give the gods, the deities, this much larger view of individual situations, right? So they're seeing it from many different angles, and this allows them to build this much larger, much more powerful wisdom of just general situations. So how do we do this? How do we use this in our everyday life? Well, the first thing I teach almost anyone who comes and talks to me is that we need to learn to stop. Many times we kind of get swept up in emotion. We get swept up in that energy that's moving constantly. Whoa, whoa. It's just flow. It's just we're in the deep river and it's moving us. Well, there's ebbs, and all we have to do is kind of steer towards one of those ebbs. Just, whoa, take a moment and let our cognitive space do its job. What's our cognitive space? Well, we've spoken about it before, but it's simply a space at the top of our horn of feeling. And that space allows us to control, manage the conversion and expansion of energy within the horn of feeling. So it's growing. Now, that's what energy does. It's just going. And if we've got lots of silt, we've limited the space that it has to expand in. Many times, that expanding energy is going to eliminate, it's going to fill up our cognitive space, and it's going to prevent us from thinking our way through it. How do we get our cognitive space back? Well, very simple. We stop. Breathe, think, act. It's as simple as that. And I know, oh, you say, stop. Yes, stop. Take a minute, take a breath. You're not on a timeline, not in social interactivity. Take a minute. If something's beginning to trigger you and you can feel our emotional energy start right, take a break. Stop. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Hold. The cycles that we're processing, our brain is processing, the cycles at which we're not processing anything new, we're just, maybe even close your eyes. When we do this, we allow those breaths in. Think of your expanding energy within the horn of feeling. Think of it like filling root beer into a mug, how it expands very quickly. But then if you let it sit for a minute or slow the pour, the foam kind of winds down a little bit. Same thing. A very perfect parallel or analogy to use when we talk about expanding energy. All right, my friends, today is Mani's Day. We are destined for greatness this week. I'm really excited about opportunities and potential of this week, and I hope you are too. There is so much wonderful things out there. for us to embrace and to love and to just really be a part of. So I hope that you will get out and live your life. But most importantly, I hope that you will remember, stop, breathe, think, act. In that order. Take a break. You need it. It's okay. Nobody's going to. And if they judge you, it's their issue, not yours. Stop and breathe. And we'll be able to kind of move our way through this. All right? Enjoy your Money's Day. We will see you again where we'll embrace the courage of tear tomorrow for Tears Day. I hope that you will join me as always. For those of you who are looking forward, this weekend, Saturday, Drum Circle be happening at the Abbott Loop Community Park for those of you who are here in Anchorage or can get there. Regardless of weather, so remember to dress accordingly because who knows what Mother Alaska has up her sleeve, so make sure you're prepared. We will see you then. Before then, we will see you, of course, tomorrow morning for Tears Day. Love and light, my friends.
Fulfillinos. Una. Hjälpas med. Magnify. Tu för og. Kaliot.
If what we've touched today hits something raw for you, you don't have to carry it alone. We offer a sliding scale spiritual guidance with sessions outside normal business hours. Visit akulfhednar.org/guidance to book a free discovery session.